jungle, we unite and dripping orange and black and white. All day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Now who got 'em, who rockin' on? Now who wanna move crossing on? Now who wanna move out on? If you got stripes, then you let the city know you rock 'em. Yeah, we got 'em, yeah, we fought 'em. Like that black and orange up on 'em. Single bottle, never stop it. To the feastin' on 'em. Who they rockin' with the diamond stripes? Flossin' on the ring. Cincinnati, she's our queen. We gon' show the world who king. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, who day we ignite and
Welcome to Bengals and Brews. I'm Del Upman, joined by BSG. He's full of shit. Joined by Skinny Pork Chop. He gets his gallbladder removed just to lose more weight.
Right.
Joined by a beautiful man with beautiful hair and a beautiful beard in Mobile, Alabama, Peter Parker Blake, the one and only. You saw in the intro, we've had Orlando Brown. We've had Ted Karras. And now we've got the third greatest offensive lineman I've ever seen, and that's Parker Blake. What's up, brother?
Hey, man, you just living the dream down here. You know, it's my day off before the game, post practices, just kind of a chill day. I had to come on and chat with the boys.
Absolutely. And we are always honored to have you on. This will be the second year in a row, at least, that you've done this from Mobile, Alabama. We also usually do a mock draft, but we wait till after free agency before we me and Parker bust out a dominant mock draft for all these teams.
Oh, yeah.
And show them what's up.
When is that,
Dale? Everybody in the chat. When is what?
You and Parker doing your draft?
Oh, we'll figure out a date, but free agency starts and we do our live show at Midwest on March 15th. So it'll be sometime, between toward the end of March into April before the draft, typically.
Good deal.
But it all depends on Parker's schedule. He's a busy man. Parker, tell the people all the things that you do and where you write and all this. And
God, dang, it's only an hour's show.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just writing for TWSN right now. I do a bunch of shit on my Twitter. So, I mean, you can just follow me on Twitter. You can subscribe to me on Twitter. I do a lot of stuff for my subscribers. Like I dropped my full interviews from Media Day, some clips from practice this during the week. Dropped that all for my subscribers. But yeah, I really just kind of wing it out here. Whoever wants me to write for them, I'll usually write something. I'm not very consistent because I hate writing, but I do it when I have to. And then obviously when Dale hits me up, I do the show. I'm trying to start my YouTube thing. Got TikTok started yesterday. Just if you got social media, just search me up. I'll be there somewhere.
Yes, you can always find him at Parker Blake 60 on Twitter and subscribe to him there because you're going to get some great content. You're going to get just a beautiful man. Sometimes he posts feet pictures.
True.
That part's not true. That part's not true. I made that part up.
It's not true.
But Parker, you've been at the Senior Bowl, so we're going to talk basically all Senior Bowl for most of this show. But one thing I want to get before the Senior Bowl is your thoughts on our guy, Peter. We got Peters. We love Peters. How do you feel about our guy,
How do you feel
Peters?
about Peters?
How do you feel about Peters?
Are you loving Peters in Cincinnati? Is it a good fit, that Peters?
I'm a big Scott Peters fan. I mean, I've seen his stuff on YouTube. I've seen his stuff in the Cool Clinic and like Coach Tube. Like I've been following his stuff for a while. I think he has a lot of great pass protection specific stuff, especially for interior guys. I know there's been concerns about him developing tackles, but I mean that's why we brought in a guy that really deals exclusively with tackles. So we really got the 1-2 combo in Cincinnati now, and I'm a big fan of just what Scott Peters can do. I think a lot of people were worried about what that Patriots offensive line looked like, and I think kind of like what we talked about with Cincinnati and what I talked about with Frank Pollock, he did a lot with a little. It could have been a lot worse out there in New England. So I'm very excited personally.
Absolutely. And I like that. If he's more interior O-line, what do we need the most help with? Our freaking guards. We need to get some guards.
Exactly.
And we'll start on the offensive line and kind of give our standouts. We'll have some mixed results guys, some wanted more from guys. And me and Parker may not agree on all these. And he was down there in person, so his opinion is probably better than mine. But I'll still give mine from what I've seen and been able to watch.
I got to tell you, I feel like my opinion still might be like not as good as yours, and you weren't there either, Dale.
Yeah. I don't know, Chop. You're pretty elite at breaking this stuff down.
It's true.
So do you have a standout, Chop?
O-line, D-line, let's go.
Do you have a standout on the offensive line from this week?
What's that dude from LSU again?
Miles Frazier.
That fucking guy.
That's a good one to start with. He's on my list as well. So I've got 3 offensive linemen. There's more, but he is definitely one of them. So, Parker, what did you see from Miles Frazier from LSU? He kicked out to tackle some. He's played 4 spots on the line. He was actually at a smaller school for a couple of years and played left tackle at Florida International is where it was. And then he moved to LSU for 3 seasons, played more guard, but some both guard spots. He's played some right tackle here and there. What are your thoughts on Miles Frazier this week in general?
Parker. Miles Frazier, go ahead.
That was the first thing I was going to say was that he kicked out the tackle. That's what I thought. I mean, he was, so I've kind of started trying to start my draft process this year moving forward without like starting with the top guys. I start with kind of like some of these middle round, maybe some of these lesser heard guys. Miles Frazier is one of the first probably 10, 15 prospects I watched in this cycle. And I was like, oh, I kind of like what he's working with. And seeing how he was moving at tackle, like I think he's in a class full of tackles that are turning into guards. He may be one of the only guards that can actually flex out to tackle consistently and effectively, like at the NFL level. I'm a big fan of Miles Frazier. I have been a big fan of Miles Frazier. Go Tigers. But I mean, yeah, just big fan. I like what he did this week. He didn't really wow me this week, but he performed up to expectations. And then again, he bumped up to the tackle and really hung well in a week where I personally thought a lot of the tackles struggled throughout the week. So I was really impressed with him this week.
Awesome. Greg, do you have a guy? Greg, do you have an offensive line guy you want to pivot to?
There was 2 of them, but I have to ask you about this. Willie Lampkin. That dude may be 5'10", but that dude is not afraid.
The power peanut, as our guy Ryan Sparks calls him.
That's funny. Yeah, but no. Was it Lampkin that just totally handled the dude from UK, the big 6'7" guy? He like laid him down, literally a little.
He didn't lay him down. He held his own against him. He held his own, and he had some losses. What I seen, he is in my mixed results. But Parker, what's your opinion on Lampkin? 5'10", 270 is obviously a big issue.
Yeah,
outlier.
Yeah, no, Willie Lampkin looked really good in the run pods, doing some 2-on-1, 1-on-1 stuff. I thought he had, I mean, the thing with him is he's obviously going to win the leverage battle, and you saw that, right? Like, when he faced these bigger, like taller guys, he was able to get under them and really anchor in well, and that's what you wanted to see out of a guy that's in a smaller frame like he is. Does he have the lower body strength? Can he anchor well against power? And I thought he showed all great things. I do think he opens his hips. He's got a little loose hips. He's not great laterally, but I think he's strong base, really knows how to maximize his leverage and win those leverage battles when he has to, especially in the run game. Overall, I think he's mixed results as well. I was very impressed to see what he was able to do against guys like Deion Walker and even some of these other like
Walter Nolan,
TJ Sanders. I mean, like he faced all of these defensive tackles, and I thought he held up pretty well. It's just, again, I worry about him handling slants and stunts and moving laterally, but that was really my only concern with him. And then obviously, is the NFL going to be comfortable taking a quote unquote risk on a guy with that frame?
And can he play some fullback? Can he move around and play some extra lineman snaps, like we've seen even with our center that we took last year and Matt Lee doing some of that? Could you move him around? And then he's active on game day doing that stuff, but then an emergency situation, boom, you got a guy who's played center, you got a guy who's played both guard spots.
Yeah, no, I mean, I kept telling people all week that I'm like, if he could go to a team like the Ravens and just sit behind a guy like Ricard for, the end of his career, kind of settle into that role, put on a little bit more weight, get a little bit more athletic, hopefully down the stretch, because I don't think he moves great at the second level. But if he can kind of check those boxes off, I think he'd be a great fullback in the NFL personally. But it's just finding the right fit in a team that's going to actually utilize that, not just getting sunk on a depth chart because a spread team picked him up.
Well, I'll go to my opinion, the biggest winner of the week, and I can't keep him out of my top 50 anymore. And I think most people thought he was one of the biggest winners. And listen, you're going to hear North Dakota State, and you're going to go, well, Cordell Volson, small school.
Right. Yeah.
This is not Cordell Volson. Gray Zabel was absolutely phenomenal, and he played tackle there, but he's going to kick inside to at least guard, but he played a lot of center, and I got him as my center one now. I can't help it. It's kind of a weak center class, and it's like he's showing what he could do at center and how much he wanted to be on that field, how many reps he wanted to take, and how he held his own against some good players on the inside. I loved Gray Zabel. Where would you put him? Standout, mixed results, or you wanted more from him?
He's mixed results for me. I thought his day one, he got a lot of hype, and I thought really like 70 to 80% of his first practice was kind of rough. I think it got off to a rough start. Even pre-practice, I was talking to guys about how he looked just really uncomfortable playing center. Like he was very nervous to get out there and get live reps as a center. You saw him warm up, and towards the end of the day, I think he looked a lot better, especially as center. I talked to people this week about how I felt he didn't really look great as a guard. I didn't like what he was doing in, the pass protection one-on-ones as a guard. I think he's a great run blocker, obviously coming out of North Dakota State. All those guys are, but then they all have flaws as pass protectors, and I think that just showed up. But then getting those reps as a center, I think he was able to more sit in that even base, really use that lower half and extend into guys and lift guys up. And that's really where he impressed me. So I have him as a true center. I don't have him as a center guard. I just have him as a true center. I think he's a solid player, but again, I just have him in my mixed results because I thought he was relatively inconsistent, but he was going through a position change. So you have to factor that in as well.
Yeah. I think he definitely earned himself some money, even with mixed results, because the step up in competition is what a lot of people wanted to see, and moving the positions. And if you need him to, the versatility, even if he is a true center, that he could play multiple spots in a bench, and that's always important. Travis, I do think Frazier could play on the left side. Like I said, he played left guard, left tackle, right tackle. He's played a bit of everything, the kid from LSU, so big fan of him. How do you feel about Imbo from Purdue? He's not necessarily on my list, but since Bill brought him up, I'll get your thoughts on him.
I thought Mo had a terrible week. I
didn't think he had a great week either.
Every time I looked down and saw him out there, I think he looks tiny as a tackle. Like they kept trying to give him these tackle reps.
Yeah,
I just thought that was kind of a waste of time with him. I don't think he's going to be a tackle. He just didn't look like he fit the part, or B, really felt comfortable playing tackle, which is concerning. But once he got moved inside, I saw the same issues I saw when he was a tackle. He just doesn't handle athleticism well, doesn't handle stunts well, doesn't handle slants well. Just lateral movement for him is a big red flag for me. And then I don't remember what his measurements were exactly, but he seemed to really struggle with length. Like he wasn't able to get hands on guys. And then when he was just fully leaning, trying to just press guys out. I just thought he had a really bad week. And for a guy, I haven't watched a ton of his film yet. So I was kind of using this as is this going to be a week that's going to convince me to go back and really hammer the film on him? Or is the games that I have in so far and this week kind of good enough, and it's going to confirm what I have seen so far? And it confirmed it for me. I'm just not high on him at all.
So I've got him third round. Are you thinking even lower?
I think he can go third round. I'd feel more comfortable taking him more of like an early fourth, one of those day 3 swings where you can kind of see him flexing around. You can see the vision in developing him. I think that's a fine range for him personally.
I'll go guy mixed results, but honestly could say wanted more from first year playing center, played a lot of positions at USC. Jonah Monheim, while we're kind of talking centers, I'll kick to him next. So what was your thoughts on Monheim this week?
He had a tough week too. Day one, when they ended practice, I was looking around at guys and saying, like, he's going to have a long week ahead of him. There was a couple of guys that came out, and I was like, man, if they don't figure it out, it's going to be a battle. And when I came down here, I talked about how I thought the defensive line talent and offensive line talent for the whole event was very mismatched. I thought the caliber of defensive linemen was a lot higher. I mean, you had multiple FCS players on the American team playing next to each other at times. I mean, I thought the talent disparity was very large as it was. And then it came out, and a lot of guys seemed to kind of step up to that challenge and hold their own and at least break even. But I thought Jonah was one of the guys that really fell apart on day one, kind of settled in on day 2, and then just kind of had an iffy, inconsistent up and down day 3. And so I just wasn't impressed by him. I liked his early season film, but even in the college football season, I felt like he kind of trailed off to the end of the year. Never really settled in. Always felt like he was better when he was fresh, which obviously everyone's going to be. But when it came down to brass tacks down the stretch, he really struggled with a lot of things. I can't sell myself on him as a center prospect personally. He's a day 3 guy for me.
Yeah, he's a tough one. A guy who surprised me, and I had to go back and watch a little more on him, and I put him in the draft guide, but it's somebody I said I got to watch more of. Speaking of small school guys, was Jackson Slater from Sacramento State. What was your thoughts on him?
Yeah, Jackson Slater was one of my biggest winners from this week. Probably one of my favorite offensive linemen that were down here. I'm a huge fan of him. I was actually messaging with him. I had someone reach out to me and kind of put me onto him before practices started. And they were like, hey, kind of watch this guy for me, one of my guys. And I was like, okay. And I checked him out. And day one, he was flashing. Like, I felt like he was really the only offensive lineman on day one that was hanging with the defensive lineman, wasn't getting beat consistently, or even, winning some, losing some. I felt like he won a majority of his reps on day one, and that really carried through the rest of the week. I love his physical approach to the game. I love his proactive approach to the game, and I was even able to talk to him at media day. Just seems like a great guy, football guy. Just a huge fan of Jackson Slater.
Yeah, I liked him too, and I got to watch more of him. I don't know where I'll end up with him, but I wanted to get him in the guide, and I put him like 6th round to start, and I was like, this could go way up. I just got to get some Sacramento State film.
Hey, let me ask you guys a question. Since we're doing a Cincinnati
Ray was at the Shrine, so we're probably not going to talk about that today, Ben.
Since we're doing a Cincinnati show here, what about the kid from Cincinnati, Luke Kendra? I saw you got him in your draft guide, Dale.
Yeah, he was not at the Senior Bowl.
He didn't go down.
Yeah, I'll get Parker's thoughts on him. I think he's a decent player. He's probably a little better pass blocker than he is a run blocker. Even though he's got good size, he's listed at 320. He's still a little of the functional strength I don't quite see all the time from him. I like him. I don't love him. I think he's another one of those guys, that could end up being like day 3.
Does he play left or right, or does
he's played right guard mostly?
Right. Okay.
Originally at Louisville, then transferred to Cincinnati. Do you have any thoughts on him, Parker? Just since he was mentioned.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I agree with you 100%. I think he's better in pass protection. I think you see his mass show up more in pass protection. I think it is concerning when you see these guys that are, 315 plus struggle in the run game as far as play strength goes. Like, I worry about his play strength in the run game a lot. But he does know how to use his mass, use his lower half in pass protection. That helps him out a lot. Another guy that I just feel like doesn't have great functionality, laterally in protection, but, a solid player.
Yeah, Thomas the Tank. I know not a Senior Bowl guy, but yeah, I'm loving what I'm seeing from.
Caught a screen last night.
Yeah, and then he was back at work, back training with Duke at like 5:30 this morning. Well, that's a football guy, Thomas the Tank, man. And we will get to Darius Alexander and D linemen and stuff like that. We're still finishing through the offensive linemen. Go ahead, Greg. I got at least one more guy on my list, and I want to ask Parker. 2 more guys on offensive, 3 more guys. Dude, there's so many guys. 4 more guys, 5 more guys,
5, 6.
And then we'll get back to offensive line.
Unfortunately, he did not go to the Senior Bowl, but I was looking at Dale's draft guide. I just want your take. Martin from, what was the small school guy that I was a big fan of, Dale? What was the school called? Guard. He was a guard. God dang it. No,
he was a guard, Dale.
Yeah, Dale, that narrows it down.
From the school, small school, Dale. He's a guard.
A guard. Oh, Charles Grant? I put him with the guards. He played tackle from William and Mary. Is that who you're talking about?
William and Mary. William and Mary.
I was like, I don't know, Martin.
I was like, who the fuck is Martin?
I was like,
that just shows you how
I got nothing when he said Martin.
Get your shit together, Greg.
Yeah.
I called out myself.
But Charles Grant, we wish we could have seen him at the Senior Bowl. That was the thing. I needed to see it in a step up because he's probably going to kick in because of his size. Parker, do you have any other thing on him?
I just haven't been a huge fan of his film. I think he's a very stiff player. I thought that at tackle, I thought his guards helped him a lot at William and Mary. I don't think he uses. I think he has good length, but he doesn't use it very well. I just, just a very limited player. I mean, I can see why he's a small school guy. He's going to end up being a day 3 or UDFA type guy, in my opinion. I don't think anyone's going to get too excited over him.
We're not excited about Martin.
Not excited about Martin.
He's too stiff for Peters.
Yeah.
Too stiff for Peters. Martin is too stiff for Peters.
Boom, chop. That was well played, sir. Well played. Hat tip. Next guy, I don't have any other offensive linemen necessarily in like, they stood out. I got a couple guys in mixed results, and maybe you have a different opinion on them. Ariante Ursary from Minnesota and Emory Jones from LSU. Emory Jones, man, had a down season. I think and this is LSU got chopped, so I'm sorry. But I would have liked to seen him had more inside at guard because I think that's ultimately probably his future. And then Ursary was up and down. Jones was a little up and down. He had some good reps, but also some pretty bad ones. What are your thoughts on those 2 guys specifically?
It was fun seeing all 3. I mean, there was 3 LSU guys down here. And so that was really fun to watch them work next to each other when they were able to. They played Dellinger at guard a lot. I thought he played center last year. And
he played left guard.
But it was fun watching them work. I was a fan of Emory Jones. I liked him more than Will Campbell upon like film review during the year. But down here, it did feel like he was just outmatched by some of these edges. When he kicked into guard, I thought he looked a lot more functional, looked a lot more comfortable, just working in that tighter space, the more condensed area. I think he looks really athletic still. I wasn't worried about him being, too immobile or not very good side to side. I thought he covered stuff up well. I think it's just a hip issue where he just, like I see with a lot of players anyway, but I mean, just opens the hips very easily on slants. He tries to redirect, but there are times when he's not able to get that second leg through and drive it out. And so I think he can be fixed in an off season or two. And so I still have high hopes for him as far as, getting to where he needs to be. But I think it's just going to drop him down to a day 2 guy for me, which is fine for him in my opinion.
All right. 2 guys I wanted more from, I don't want to shit on guys. So wanted more from kind of is me shitting on the guys I'm a little bit shitting on. Wyatt Mealam from West Virginia. I definitely wanted more from. I thought he had a very bad week. And I was very high on him. So it's one of those that I'm like, damn, I got to go back. And I think I just was wrong on this guy a little bit. I'm still not going to be completely out or drop him too far, but definitely don't see first round like I thought maybe he could have been at all. And then Josh Connerly Jr., who's probably still going to go first round. He could potentially be in the mixed results, but I saw him get beat quite a bit. What were your thoughts on those 2 guys?
Well, first, I didn't address Ursary. I'll be really quick on Ursary. I thought it was a waste of time to put him at tackle. I thought he is a better guard than tackle. Every tackle we're up to see, he just got worked on down here. And I worry about his play strength ability and his just athleticism overall. I'm very interested to see how he tests because there showed flashes of him being able to move. But then again, he's not able to really drive through guys. And that was my biggest concern with him on film. So interested to see kind of how he tests and if that athleticism kind of bump him up my board. Wyatt Millam out of West Virginia, I agree with you 100%. Just totally underwhelmed me this week. I was very excited to see him. I really enjoyed his tackle tape. I thought he looked like projected as a really good guard, at least a solid guard as a floor. And then he came out here, really struggled at guard, tried him at center a little bit, and they killed that idea really fast. They did not like him at center down here. Really just overall, again, just underwhelmed. It didn't seem like he ever really settled into the week. And I feel like he's gonna be a guy that goes home and wishes he would have gotten more out of the week for sure. And you said someone
Josh Connerly, who's projected to go
highlight
first
man.
round.
Highlight man.
Yeah.
I've been low on both the Oregon tackles, and it's because of pad level. And I think obviously the entire country saw that highlighted this week. But he doesn't seem like he's ever going to fix that. And so I think you just have to kind of accept that for, that's who he is as a player. And then another player who I've got a lot of tackle run this week, just because I just don't think there were a lot of very capable right tackles on that team. And so he was getting thrown out there at right tackle and just getting outmatched by pretty much everybody he faced. It didn't feel like he ever found a good matchup at right tackle. But then he bumped into guard and showed a lot of upside. I mean, it was still up and down, but you could see the vision. You could see the potential in him as a guard. And so again, that's another player where really my prior evaluation of him really just held true throughout the week.
Yeah. So I've seen some people have him as a top 15 guy, and I never quite seen that. And that's what I'm like, all right. So some of these I'm like, yeah, I wanted to see more because I wanted to see what some of these people were seeing. And
me too.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it at the Senior Bowl week. And you're not judging everything off of that. So don't think we are. No. But we're just kind of recapping this to go along with what we've watched and trying to get a full picture, and there'll still be the combine and all kinds of stuff coming up. Was there any other offensive linemen that you want to talk about? Because, I mean, you're our O-line expert
right
here at Bengals and Brews and in the Bengals community. So is there any other offensive linemen before we move on to other positions?
Yeah, I think my 2 big winners of the week, Jackson Slater, we already talked about, but Jalen Travis out of Iowa State, left tackle.
Good pass blocker. Yeah.
He actually measured in bigger than Deion Walker. And when I, was at media day, I talked to both Deion and Jalen. And I was kind of underwhelmed by Deion in person. I thought he'd feel a lot bigger in person, which he didn't.
You're like, bitch. He's 6'7", 340, and Parker's like, you're a little bitch.
Well,
Right.
I gotta send you the picture. I took a picture with him because my dad's a Cats fan. And he was bugging me all week. He's like, you have to get a picture. I want to see you next to Dion. Yada yada. Like, just going on and on. So I do have a picture comp of me next to Dion Walker for forever now. But
I'd like to see that.
but I went over to Jalen Travis and just man was a wall. Just felt like very well built, very tall, very long arms, very wide base, strong shoulders. Just a very well built tackle. And then seeing him move on the field, you worry about him struggling with some bendier guys because he doesn't seem like the most flexible player, but he gets hands on very early. And when he gets hands on, he locks guys up. And he actually mentioned that when I was talking to him in my interview, said that one of the things he really appreciates about his own game is that he's able to shut down rushes early when he's able to just, win the hand fighting battle, get hands on early. I think he does redirect very well for not looking like a very athletic player. He moves well at the second level in the run game. He redirects pressure well, covers up inside moves well in pass protection. Again, I think his biggest flaw in his game is just sometimes that corner can get shortened by bendier guys because he's not able to really get down to that level at times. And
It's huge.
Yeah, I mean
he was originally listed. He was listed at like 6'9", 315, but then he came in closer to 6'7", which I thought I would prefer that, obviously. And then also he was like 340 something, right? And he was listed at like 315. So like his size he carries it well. Yeah,
no, he looked really lean when I was talking with him. Like I wouldn't have thought him, a pound over 320 at the most when I was talking with him. But again, he's all I think because he was 3/8 taller than Dion Walker because we were arguing about it at dinner one night. And I mean he's every millimeter of that 6'7", man. It's just a big body. And again, if he wasn't, if he was a little more flexible on the corner, he would have shot up boards for me this week. But that's just a very big issue at the NFL level. And so interesting to see. I'll be interested to see how he kind of overcomes that, but I do think he's going to land in a spot, and I think he's going to find his way onto the field in some capacity as a rookie because, I just don't know how you keep that body on the sideline personally.
That's
awesome. What I would never keep on the sideline? Midwest Best Barbecue, proud sponsor of this show. It is never on the sideline. It's got so many good qualities: wings, dip.
Rib.
It's got
Rib.
Sandwiches, mac and cheese. Everything you
onion
need.
Rings,
pork rinds, onion rings.
Onion rings now.
It's got a boneless wings now.
I mean,
Parker,
fries.
Come to Cincinnati. They got onion rings now.
Yeah. And on every third Saturday, it throws at you with their ribs. And every now and then, it gets you your shrimp and grits. So head on down there. And while you go in there, wear yourself a Chop Shop t-shirt. While you're at another proud sponsor of the show. Parker, we need to get you to Midwest Best.
Yes.
I have a complaint about your chat, Dale.
Oh, yeah?
What the hell is Austin talking about here? I don't know if that's a good or a bad sentence. I need clarification because if he's dissing on mac and cheese and barbecue sauce, we're going to have a fight here on our hands.
Like the combination. Like
the combination.
Because
mac
it's
and cheese and barbecue is good.
Now, if you're having ribs and you got the barbecue sauce on the ribs, you can't tell me that barbecue sauce you don't want to take your mac and cheese that you've got with it and dip in a little
some pulled pork
sauce.
Mac, some brisket Mac.
Yes.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah, that's an elite combination, Austin. So if you don't know, now you know. Because take it from us, we are big fellas, and we know our food.
By the way, Parker, would you also try the new Grater's ice cream that's out right now in Cincinnati?
I'm intrigued and not for any positive reason.
Let me tell you something.
Not for positive.
It is good. Come on, Parker.
I gotta tell you, it's very fucking weird.
It is.
I could have told you that, and I'm not even anywhere near it.
It's so weird to have that ice cream and then bite into a salty oyster cracker right in the middle.
Are there crackers in it?
There's oyster crackers in it, and they're crunchy.
I didn't know that.
That's just
cinnamon ice cream with oyster crackers.
That's crazy.
It's good. It's good. I liked it.
These Cincinnati people,
say
Parker, are something else, brother.
You can definitely
I love you,
tell,
but you guys are something
different
else.
world over there, man.
You can definitely tell that it's Skyline Chili spices that are in the vanilla ice cream, which is really creamy. But then all of a sudden, you fucking bite into a very salty oyster cracker. I don't know how they do it.
We're going to try all this when you come back, man. We're going to get you to try all this.
I
don't know, Greg.
On the ice cream.
You've told me we were going to go to Midwest like the last 3 times I came out there.
Well,
I
one time I
still
didn't know
love
what because
them.
while I was picking you up from the airport that day, I'm like, I'll just pull up and pick him
Yeah,
up.
and we almost died together, Greg, and we haven't shared ribs.
Wow.
You know what, Parker?
Greg,
March 15th.
you've been big time in Parker on
All right,
Midway.
big time. Parker, come here March 15th.
March 15th,
show.
we got you.
What?
Ribs and shrimp and grits.
Yeah, we're gonna get ribs and possibly shrimp and grits. Fly out here March 15th, man. Come on.
I'll just fly out there. You know,
Yeah,
There you
fuck
go.
it, man.
Special live guest, Parker.
Call
Believe-
Jeeves.
There we go.
Call Jeeves and tell him to put it in your planner.
All right,
I'll
guys, we
find
need
the couch.
a lot of subscriptions to Parker's Twitter so he
Yeah.
can afford to fly out for our
I'll
live
start,
show.
I'll start a
at
March
Midwest.
15th GoFundMe. We'll see what happens.
There you
Let's
go.
go.
Let's go.
Go fund Parker.
Go fun, Parker.
Yeah.
All right. Do you guys have anything, Chop and Greg, before I move on to some other players at different positions? Anything?
No,
for
I had a
Parker?
bunch,
'Cause
but
you guys are just kind of sitting there, and I hate that. But when I get somebody like Parker on, and we love the draft the way we do,
Don't worry, Dale. I had a
don't
bunch,
worry.
but you guys hit on them all before I got a chance to talk about them. Probably happen again with the next position. Go ahead.
Yeah.
that's fair, Chop. I understand you had
Yeah.
a lot, but we
I had a lot.
we
but
said
you
everything you were gonna say.
You guys covered it before it got back to me, so I felt good about that. Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
You just say cosign.
Right.
Cosign.
Yeah.
Stamp it.
All right, I want to
Appreciate
move on, and I'm kind of going I want to start O-line because I think that's a position, especially the guards, and a lot of these guys can, maybe be guards, in the NFL, but also you could use tackle depth. So, and you're an O-line guy, so you had to start O-line. But I think another position we need is, edge and D tackle. So that's the next place I want to go. And a guy that I've loved for a long time, just got to find out about his dismissal from Virginia, is Mike Green from Marshall.
Oh, yeah.
Only practiced 2 days, but holy shit. He's explosive. Weighing in at 251 was probably more important than anything he did on the field as well, up from like 236 in the summer, and still moved well. Your thoughts on Mike Green?
He's not going to play at 251, but good for him for being able to make weight down here. Really proud of him for that.
You think he'll play like 240?
He's going to play at 230, Dale.
Fuck!
230.
Come on now. I don't want to hear that shit. He's 251. He looked just fine.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I'm not a fan of Mike Green, so I've been trying to tiptoe Mike Green
Okay.
around Bengals fans because it's a very
Okay.
hot topic.
Because
I
I
know.
love
Bengals
him.
fans are
'Cause
high
I
on
love
him.
him.
They are very. I know. I'm aware. Trust me. Me and my mentions are very well aware how the Bengals fan base feels about Mike Green. I just I even talked about that rep against Josh Connerly. I didn't think it even looked like a good rep then. I just think that was more Josh Connerly losing more than Mike Green winning. Mike Green popped straight up out of his stance. That's why he won that rep. That's why he blew through Josh Connerly, because he exploded up into his chest and was able to knock him over because he was just too tall. And that's where it just – I think Mike Green's going to get shut down at the NFL level by these guys with more mass, with more length.
You're hurting my feelings. Who invited this guy on? Who invited this guy on? And we will get to Caldwell. He will be part of this discussion.
I just don't think he needs a better toolbox. Hasn't used his hands well. I just think he's a very one-dimensional rusher. I worry about him in the run game against bigger tackles. He just got all these question marks from me that weren't really – I didn't see great counterpoints this week to that conversation. I even told people I had to go back day one and find him in the film because I got back to my hotel and I forgot he was down here because I just he didn't flash to me at all.
It's really hurting my feelings right now.
So I was just I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I can't.
Parker's like, I gotta be careful
around.
around the Bengals fans with Mike Green, but fuck that guy. He sucks.
If everyone agreed, what fun would it be? So that'll be one that 2-3 years from now, me and Parker can be like, oh, Mike Green. And one of us is going to have to say, oh, I didn't see it. Or I'm going to have to say, Parker will say, I didn't see it. Or I'm going to say, well, I was a fucking dumbass. So one or the other is going to happen. In 2
So
or 3
Parker, you'd rather have Captain Jack?
Oh, man, why are you trying to get me excommunicated from?
I'm just
Bengals?
helping out the
I
Brew
can't
crew,
talk
man. They
about
got
either of these
questions.
players next to each other because either
Jack
one
Sawyer,
side or the
Jack
other.
Sawyer is not a pick 17, not even close. No. I'm a Buckeye fan. I'm wearing a high state gear.
You don't want to run stopper at 17, Dale. But look at the Bengals run defense. It was so bad.
That's it, right.
Yeah.
Parker, would you take Xavier Watts at 17? I know I'm really going at him.
I'd take Xavier Watts at 17.
Oh, fuck me. I got him at 35. I want to trade down.
Oh,
I said if we traded at 35 on my board, I said if we traded
Hold on though,
if
because
we
I don't think you're far off. I'm just hold on. Let me see where he's at on my board.
If we traded down to like pick 25 and took Xavier Watts, I would feel a lot better because we also gained some draft capital and still. If he's the guy, I think you can get him at.
He's
25.
the pick.
So I don't want him at 17 for that reason. He's 35 on my board. That's the main reason, but also, because I think you can get him at 25.
Get comfortable.
Why not? Okay, let's get him at 25. I'm fine with it at 25.
We don't have a pick at 25. The Bengals
well, we will, and we'll have an extra third.
They're not going to trade down.
I think the thing with this class is there's not going to be more than 17 first-round grades in this class. And so I think the Bengals are in a prime spot to trade down because a team's going to sell a lot of assets to move up into that 17 spot, in my opinion, based on what I project to fall there. I was having conversations with people this week that, ask someone who their number one quarterback is, and then ask them where they're actually realistically comfortable picking that prospect at. And if, they tell you in the top 5, I think you know who you're talking to. If they tell you, the back end of the first round, I think you know who you're talking to. I think it's just a very good way to feel out how people see this class and how they value those players in it, obviously. But I think for me personally, my answer to that was, I'm not comfortable even picking a quarterback in this class until that 15, 16, 17 range at the earliest, in my opinion. And I'm really high on a guy like Jackson Dart, but I'm not going to go shell out a top 10 pick for the kid. So I don't know. I think
2 will go. Ward and Sanders are going in the top 6 picks. So that'll help. That'll help things too. And then there'll be less players though on a lot of other teams' boards that don't need a quarterback, like you're saying. Because I seen that I can't remember who it was, but they said, it was Jim Nagy who runs the Senior Bowl. He said he talked to a lot of like teams. They only got like 8 or 10 first round grades. A lot of these teams do right now for prospects. So that says a lot. So we'll continue with the D. I promise we're going to get to D tackles, but KP with the super chat, I will read it. Nolan, Green, or trade down at 17. I feel you. And Parker doesn't want Green, so Parker's out on that part of it. But I feel you. And we'll get to Walter Nolan. I promise, guys. We got a lot of guys to get to. So I am not avoiding anything that you guys are saying. We just got a lot to get to. So the next guy, because I want to stick with edge, then we'll get to D tackle. So I got as another standout. He could have been a little better, I guess, just because I'm so high on him. I think he could end up in the back of the first round. Donovan Ezeriku from Boston College. What are your thoughts on him? You didn't like Mike Green, so I'm a little worried.
I love Donovan. I keep calling him Easy because I'm not even going to attempt to say that last name. But I'm a huge fan. Huge fan of Donovan or the kid I think he's out of Boston College. It's the 2 things I've been calling him all week because, me and him on our first name basis now, apparently. Yeah. No, I'm a huge fan of him. I think he showed great bend around the edge. Him and another player that I'm sure we're going to talk about, someone brought up in the chat earlier, both look great around the edge this week, bending that corner. His speed to power was really just too much for a lot of the tackles to handle. And there were some big tackles down here. And so, what he was able to put on tape this week and then going back and rechecking that to the game film from the season, I'm going to be extremely high on him as a prospect. I think
he's 26 on my board already.
As far as Bengals prospects, I think he's as D-line wise, he's the 3rd choice for me right now.
Yeah, I see it, man. He's only 6'2", 248, so you can say the size, well, that's a knock. But he has almost 35-inch arms. And it shows on tape.
He's a freaky build, man.
Yeah.
Freaky build.
So I love him. So at least we're on the same page with him. So, trade down to 25 and take him. And me and Parker are both happy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting. I see Oben here, and he's on my list, but the next thing I'm going to get to is Femi Oladejo from UCLA. Played a lot of linebackers. Speaking of fucking names, another guy I had to add to the draft guide because he wasn't on it. Played a lot of linebackers, especially UCLA had the Murphy twins, and they had Latu last year. So he was playing linebacker. This year he plays more edge. He's a smaller at 6'3", but he's like 260. And he's quick as can be. And I thought he had a great week. He was one of my standouts and a guy that I'll be honest, didn't have too much about prior to this week. Had to go back and dig in.
Yeah, no, I am amazed that he weighed in at 260 because he does not look 260. However,
Yeah, he doesn't.
At that weight, you expect a lot more power out of him, and he's more of a finesse guy. And so I feel like he's a guy that needs to drop back down to like a 240 even and play outside linebacker. Like go play 3-4 outside linebacker, be a threat off the edge. I think he's good in coverage though, personally. And so I see him more as like a fit for that role. If he's gonna play at 260 or even get up to 270, 80 in the league, like he's gonna have to find a way to develop power, use his length better off the edge. And you just really develop that set of skills. He's like I said, he's just more of a finesse rusher, in my opinion. And he's not built like it, and he doesn't play like he's built either. So kind of a weird match. So
Yeah, and I think he's definitely still day 3.
yeah,
But I just somebody that at least caught my attention that wasn't on my radar too much, so I wanted to mention him. And then RJ Oben's been a guy I haven't been high on. And Greg, you can go next because I know you had something there. But RJ Oben, you've liked him. You liked him in summer scouting from Notre Dame. Doesn't have like the sack production and some of that stuff. But what do you like about him? Sell me on RJ Oben because this is I like Mike Green. You don't like Mike Green. I don't necessarily love RJ Oben. Sell me on RJ Oben.
yeah. I mean, well, you didn't sell me on Mike Green either. For
No, I didn't say I did.
Right.
But I'm giving you an opportunity to sell me on RJ Oben.
I'll happily plead my case because RJ Oben, explosive off the ball. Like I think he's got one of the best get-offs in the class. I think he bends the corner again extremely well. That's the guy I was mentioning earlier. I think he was one of the best benders down here this week. But then he also, again, another great speed to power guy that could bend the corner because he uses that length well, but also has a great balance, great core strength. But he'll run through a tackle's face as well. And when he was able to rush the B gap, I mean, he was destroying guards. Like there were times this week where he truly looked dominant in this setting. And then I go back and watch the film and just the explosive potential off the ball. Like I'm willing to work with those traits. And I think, one of the things for me that I've really adopted this year into my process is I'm okay missing out on certain guys and I'm not okay missing out on other guys. And so kind of finding what that checklist looks like. Donovan and RJ Oben, I'll check a lot of my can't miss boxes where it's just like, even if you're not a complete, product or you don't have the production, I can't skip out on you because I'm going to regret it if I do.
Damn, best band there is a Diddy party. What? Go ahead, Greg.
No, but Dale, you stole it from me because, obviously he's going to get attention because, hey, his defensive coordinator's with the Bengals now. So what round do you see that guy going in? If you had to
I'd take him as early as the second round. I think he's
Oh my God!
Xavier Watts and him. Let's double up on the Irish. Let's do this.
I love a lot of these Notre Dame players, and that's why it's funny to me that Golden Lantern in Cincinnati. It's a bad matchup for me in this DC because I'm going to be hammering the table for anybody wearing a gold dome. So I love it. I love it.
So Mike Green and RJ Oben are going to be two guys in 2 or 3 years that me and Parker are going to have a conversation about.
Oh, boy.
Hey, every time I see a highlight on my timeline, it's coming to you, Dale. It's coming.
Well, no,
and every time I see a low light from RJ Oben or a no light, and this man goes undrafted. RJ Oben goes undrafted. I'm going to say Parker wanted this man in the fucking second round.
Now, you know who else went undrafted that I took a little earlier than he went?
Yeah.
Ivan Pace.
I had him a third round guy too. So at least we were on the same page with that one. I ain't on the same page with RJ Oben.
That's my fucking guy.
All right. Any other edge guys that stood out to you? Because the people in the chat, and I think it is probably the biggest, potentially the biggest position, and it's the fun position from the Senior Bowl is D tackle. I want to get to next. But any other edge guys before we move there?
I've been getting tore up about Shamar Stewart all day.
Okay, yeah. It's not my cup of tea. I still think he's a top 50 player.
What is there not to like about him outside of the data, Dale? What are we doing? Those to get on the spreadsheets and turn on the tape. Just turn on
I've watched the tape. He doesn't win all the time. He should dominate. He's 6'7", 6'6", 280. He should dominate, and he doesn't.
He does. He did.
I don't see it. I've watched him a lot. Now, he's better than Michael Williams. I'll give him that.
Oh, he's okay.
But that's as far as
I'm having a moment.
This is 3 guys that win.
Yeah, I know.
Me and Parker are usually pretty in sync with our guys.
I've admitted that my
there's one more too. Actually, there is one more after this. Go ahead with Stewart. There's one more to get to on
be
edge.
a little flawed. And so I've talked to some people who I trust their D-line eyes, and they have convinced me to go watch certain games again or go try to find tape on certain games. So I'll try and come down. I'm going to try to come down. But man, watching him in person this week, seeing him in person this week, and I kept posting about, like, it's not even like the on-field stuff that really wowed me this week. It was like seeing how competitive he was, seeing how he interacted with his fellow D linemen, being able to like see him interact with interviews and just hear him talk about what he values and his mentality. Like, I mean, like I said, if he gets 0 snaps, I just want that guy in my locker room because he's going to bring that fire that I think the Bengals defensive line. You like blackout Trey. Shamar Stewart might only get 2 sacks on the year, but man, those are going to be 2 of the most exciting sacks you've ever well seen. So I don't know, man. I don't know. But I'm gonna try and deflate my hype on him because I've had people convince me I need to go rewatch him. So I'm gonna try and come down.
It's okay.
This guy's good at practice.
Like, but you're not like the top guys have him very high. The draft guys like the Dane Briglers have him very high. So you're not on an island about Shamar Stewart. I'm just wishing that I saw what you and all these guys see because I'm like I put on the tape and I'm like. I need to see more, man. Why is this guy
I'll see you in Mobile next year. I'll show
15?
you. I'll show you.
All right, show me, baby.
There you go.
Parker, tell me about what you take.
No, Greg, we got one more to argue about.
I think we got 2 more. I'm interested to see who you're.
Well, I'm talking about Edge, and it's
I am
Landon
too.
Jackson.
Oh my God, Landon Jackson.
Okay, I put on the Bama tape when he had 3 sacks. I'm like, oh, Landon Jackson's pretty good. And then I watch every other game and I go, he's not very explosive. He's not that great. Yeah. I don't see him as not even in the conversation for first round, let alone 17. Second round, okay. He's a good run stopper. Yeah. He's got some pass rush, but he don't have a lot of pass rush moves. He wins with just size and length. And I'm gonna go get there. It's Jack Sawyer. He's the same as Jack Sawyer.
Yeah.
Well, okay, he's 2 Jack Sawyers though, but the man is like 9 feet tall and has 90-inch arms. I don't know if you like seeing this guy in person. Like, there's sometimes on film where he's playing certain teams and he looks like a freak, just size-wise out there. Like, if you've watched through the tape, you know. But like seeing him in person, I was like, holy shit, this is a big feller.
He's big.
But yeah, I think the only teams that should really even be interested in him relatively early in the draft should be like the 3-4 teams. I think he's a really good.
Okay.
I think he's a really good B gap player. I think he's a great run stuffer, like you talked about. But when on the edge, like we saw him day one. Everyone saw it day one on one-on-ones. He got put in the ground 3 times, and so it was like he's not an edge rusher. Like, he's not an edge player. He's a 3-4 DN, and that's where it's like, where do you value that overall? Like, in a non-team specific big board is really tough, at least for me personally.
Yeah.
Like, because I have him graded relatively well, but then I also understand, like, I'm not taking him in the first round because he's very scheme specific. So unless I'm a certain team that has a need at that spot, I'm not going to grab him that early. And so it's like, he's just a very unique player that way. Fun player to watch, great guy, but like, yeah, just very scheme.
Okay. So we're not actually too far off on him.
Yeah.
Hey, did you guys know that Mike Brown went undrafted?
No, he was the first overall pick for his dad's nutsack, and that's why he owns an NFL team.
It's true.
So first overall nutsack
he's in the
pick.
Forbes 500.
You said, do you think there's one more edge that we?
Okay. Well, this might be a segue instead of an edge because I don't know where you have it.
Okay, that's fair. Go ahead.
But this kid at Toledo, Dale.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah.
You don't like him?
Oh, I love him.
Oh, I love him. I had him a 3rd round pick since like
3rd round pick. What kind of loving him is 3rd round pick?
Listen, I had him as a 3rd round pick in October. I've already moved him up to 2nd. The kid is good, and you can put him anywhere on the line. And a guy I liked, he's better than this guy, but I love Carl Brooks' tape out of Bowling Green that went to Green Bay, and he played very well. I think Darius Alexander is a better version of Carl Brooks. There's something about his tape that I'm just like, I love this kid. And then he goes out at the Senior Bowl against great competition. He's lined up in all different spots, and all he does is play well. I love Darius Alexander. So he is the next one, and he is in my standout category
You're damn right he is, Dale.
There he
Damn
comes in.
right.
Here he is.
He
I
was
like
the
that
next guy on my
one, too.
list, so perfect segue.
No, I mean, I'll tell you the thing about his tape that you seem to can't figure out is the fact that he's 300 pounds and can play all 4 spots, and you can't tell he's 300 pounds. Dude is a freaky athlete. And
Pick six too.
Pick six. There
Pick
is Alexander. I'm telling you. That's like Darius Alexander. Like I don't have first round grade on him, but I take him in the first round of this class. Like I think he's got like back into the first round potential, just because he has that versatility at that size and moves how he does at that size. Like just wait, you'll see it. What days is it? Like the week after the combine, he's going to come out in a mock in like the late 20s. Just watch.
Oh man, you get me excited for him.
He's
If
got
the Bengals took him at 49, I would be very happy. Like I wouldn't be like a lot of people that would probably freak out regardless of this Senior Bowl performance. I don't think, because you look at like consensus boards, he's probably 4th, 5th round, whatever. Right now, it's going to change. Just know that me and Parker told you it's going to change.
You heard
Parker's
it.
saying first round. I'm saying second, but either way.
I didn't say. I mean,
He's putting words in Parker's mouth.
No, I'm saying either way, he's moving up. You said you could see him going late in the first.
So I pulled up Draft Scout real quick.
That's what you said.
And I just if he runs this 40 time, I'll be back with you. I think if he has a 5 in front of his 40 time, we're gonna have problems. But if he runs this like 4.8 that I think he can run, I think we're gonna have a conversation.
Cooking with gas, baby.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Anyway, let's talk about that. I like the next name too. Let's go with the next one.
On my list?
Yeah.
This has been my guy, man. The first guy I think I clipped up, Aeneas Peebles from Virginia Tech. Yeah. 6 foot, 289, 6'1". Let's give him 6 foot, 6. Whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. I don't care how tall he is. I don't care that he has shorter arms. Don't give a fuck. Put on the tape. Stud. Not just from the Senior Bowl, but all season long. The kid has been one of the best pass rushers in college football from the interior for 2 straight seasons. Not 1, 2 straight seasons for Virginia Tech. The kid is phenomenal. I got a second round grade on him. I can't keep him out of my top 50. Hell, I think I got him in like the above 40 at this point. He's small, but the kid can play. And he's Geno Atkins. Right, Greg? We're just throwing out crazy comps. What are your thoughts on Peebles, though?
I love the kid. I interviewed him, and he has one of the best quotes I think I've ever gotten from any person I've ever interacted with in my life, because I was talking to him, and I just said, hey, like if you had to give a self-scouting report, and you had to tell scouts like why they should draft Peebles, what would you say? And he started it off with one of the best things I've ever heard. He said, if you're looking for someone who's 6'8", 350, running a 4.4, I'm not your guy. And first off, I'm looking for anybody that's 6'8", 350, running a 4.4. First and foremost.
Yeah.
I am also looking for that prospect. But he said, if you're looking for a guy my size that's going to cause chaos and dominate that line of scrimmage, then, you got me. I'm right here. However, I will say, if he's 6 foot, then I'm like a confirmed 6'1" or 6'2".
He's small.
He wasn't standing up. He wasn't standing straight. He wasn't sitting there.
But they measured him. That was an official.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to go back and fight with my doctor when I get home. That's all I'm saying.
So you think I'm 6'5"?
I think you are 6'5", Dale.
I'm 6'5".
I'll give you
I'm identifying as 6'5" from now on.
But no, he's dominant. Like, I mean, the first 2 reps that he had in the 9-on period, which is just, like a group run session, he got through untouched. He was untouched on his first 2 reps, and they rotated the groups. And I was just like, wow, like I wasn't sold on this guy coming in. Like I enjoyed the film, but I was worried about the size. And I was like, my biggest question for him coming down here was like, is that going to show up against some of those other competition? He dominated all week. And like, he literally just felt unstoppable at times. Like it was just crazy to watch. I feel like certain players look down to the field, like I talked about with Mbo, like where I looked down, and every time I looked down, he was getting beat. Whenever I looked down, Peebles was winning a matchup, whether it was in team, in 9-on, in 1-on-1s, in the run pods. Like he was just dominant, play in, play out, rep in, rep out all week. And he's actually switching teams.
I'm getting hard right now just hearing you talk about it.
I've been hard the whole show.
He went against like the lineman he saw on his team all week. and now he's switching teams. He's going to go against those O linemen again on Saturday. So just be ready on Saturday for him to just have a highlight fest in this game because it's going to be a massacre.
This is what I'm saying, though. Like, this is what I'm thinking the whole time is what Ryan's saying. You're like, just turn on the tape. Well, power peanut. Just turn on the tape.
But we've seen guys 6 foot and 289 play well with his length in the NFL. We haven't seen, in my lifetime, somebody 5'10", 270 play well on the offensive line. Listen, and I am a Willie Lampkin guy, but I'm just saying that's the difference between the two.
5'10" is short
for me.
No offense to anybody 5'10".
I will say one of my other favorite quotes. You know, I try to ask every player, like, you know, you sell, like, well, how would you sell yourself to like an NFL organization as a scout? And Darius Alexander had my second favorite quote of the week because he was just like, I've never really been asked that, so I don't know what I would say. I guess I would just tell him to cut on the tape. And like he just like walked off, like he was done. Like that was mic drop, end of discussion. Just turn on the tape. You'll see why you love me. So I mean, those Darius Alexander and Aeneas Peebles, man, like if they're in stripes, I'm a happy camper.
Yeah, I'm with you. Next guy is on my standouts is Jamari Caldwell. So it's like 6'2", 340. He moves so well at that size. So he's also a power peanut in a way, little bowling ball that can move. What are your thoughts on him? Did you have him less than a standout?
You know, when I got here, I saw the measurements and I was like, oh, this is like kind of a little meatball. Defensive tackle, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And then I get to practice and I look over to the guy next to me. I'm like, hey, who's that defensive tackle out there? And he's like, oh, that's Caldwell. And I said, are you sure that that's Caldwell? He's like, yeah, the Oregon helmet, yada, yada, is this number. I was like, okay, because that dude is fucking massive, just massive. Space eater, like all week,
yes.
denting the line of scrimmage. He was even winning pass rush reps. He's a pocket pusher, not really a finesse rusher, but he showed some hand work in there. And like all week, I was just amazed because I'm like, this dude doesn't measure. Like I would not picture this frame for those measurements. Like that dude is just massive.
And the way he moves.
And that's what I was about to say next. He's explosive off the ball. Like he fires off the ball. And that's why he's such a great run stuffer is because he can dent the line of scrimmage because he'll beat you off the ball. Like it's watching him
beat you off. Chop.
Watch it.
Chop's on painkillers, so
I'm sorry,
I heard
man.
you say beat him off. He'll beat you off.
I said it and I
he
worried.
beat you off.
He's gonna beat you off.
Hell yeah. I need that guy here right now.
But no, I just a monster, man. He was winning in all kinds of
I got some fucking chili flavored ice cream for his ass if he comes over.
And crackers.
Yes. But you know, like if he's there in the 4th round for the Bengals, I would love to get Jamari Caldwell. Like call it blasphemy because I know a lot of people love McKinley Jackson. I think Jamari Caldwell has the skill set that people wishes McKinley Jackson had. That's my personal opinion.
I comped him as a better McKinley Jackson to a guy.
Okay. Let's go.
I like McKinley Jackson.
I do too. No, I like him too. I like him too. That's what I'm saying. I'm not shitting on McKinley Jackson. I'm more giving kudos for Jamari Caldwell.
Like if you tell me our goal line set is McKinley Jackson and Jamari Caldwell in the A gap, I'm feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling good.
What about this guy Cindershe's is talking about, the one that wears a helmet?
Oh, that's Greg's favorite player, I think.
Yeah, oh, that's right. Goes to that little college, Greg.
Yeah, the small
plays
college.
That position, that football position, and wears a helmet.
Yeah, that's right.
He wears a Kentucky helmet because this guy I haven't wanted more from. And you got a picture with him, Parker, and you said your dad is, but you are a Kentucky fan. At least you had been a Kentucky fan in the past and before you become unbiased completely. So, Deion Walker, I just need to see more from him. I don't know what it is. I can't, like, his pad level sucks. He's 6'7", 340. You can't teach size. There's a lot of things I like about him. Production, gridiron grading, like said they would love to take him at 17. I was like, hell no. I would be stressed at 49. I would hope we got a plan to develop him, or he almost plays more like an edge. He doesn't have the mentality almost that I want for a nasty D tackle from down to down. It's the down to down consistency. I know he's played a lot of snaps, but still at that size, it's still a worry on durability and how much can you play? And how consistent will you be if you're playing a large amount of snaps? That's my thoughts. You clearly know way more about this guy. at 17? Was he a one and more from? Was he a standout? Was he a mixed results guy? How did you view him during the week and overall?
You know, I wanted more from him too. And like even when I talked to him, I asked him what he thought because I was interested to see what his answer was. But I asked him what he thought he struggled with during the week, and he's like, I still struggle. You know, my pads will get a little high when I get tired, and he's very realistic, like with where he's at as a prospect, and like what I've been talking to people about all week, and like how I see him as a prospect is he's just a guy that's in a run stuffing frame that wants to be a pass rusher. And he's a very effective pass rusher. Even watching him during like the individual drills, like bending the corner around bags, he was one of the more flexible guys in the group. Like he bends the corner well. He uses his hands well as a rusher. He can rush with power. Like he's a great.
But he wouldn't win there. He wouldn't win there. But he's another probably 3-4 guy, right?
I don't even know. Like, I don't even know how to use him because he's built like a nose. He's built
like
6'7",
340. Yeah.
But then he comes out there and he's a pass rusher. He's not a great run stopper. He gets even in the run pods, he's getting dug out on run pods. He's getting too high and he's getting bowled over anyway. Like he's just overall, like I was upset by I'm like, you're in this body, but you're playing this football. If you just play this football instead, you'd be top
10 pick
version of Caldwell.
Yeah,
but you're not. But I don't know.
He's the biggest head scratcher for me because like summer scouting and last year, and I was like, okay, he's going to take a step. He's going to play more inside. He's going to be a little nastier coming in with another year experience, and he's going to be a top 10 pick. We're going to be talking about this guy. Man, I'd love the Bengals to get this guy next year. And now I'm going, hell no, the Bengals don't take it. So I was wrong before.
He regressed this year.
I'm not going to double down and be wrong again. I don't see it with him. On tape this year, I did not see it with him, and Senior Bowl did not see it with him.
See, we can agree every now and then, Dale. It's okay.
Oh, for sure. No, we agree a lot. We just got a few that I need to write down so I remember. And Mike Green.
I've already forgotten, probably. So,
yeah, that's why I'm like, there's another one. Who knows?
I'll rewatch this thing now.
But yeah, I need to see more from him. So, do you have any other D lineman, tackle, edge? That's it. That's all the guys I had on my list to discuss.
Yeah, no, I thought Ty Robinson out of Nebraska had a really good week.
He's another one for me. I just don't know about him.
I'm interested. Like I see the flaws in his game, and like he's not going to be high on my board. But if you were to tell me we got him in like the 5th round, I'd be kind of excited. Like just about like what he could do.
No earlier though, because he was getting second round hype from like.
Oh no.
It was. I don't remember, but one of the big national guys midway through the season was like, he's going to be in people's top 50s, and I'm like, so I watched him. I'm like, huh?
Like I like the frame, and I like what he can do in pass rush situations. He's not he's a guy that PFF's going to hate because he's not like winning pass rush reps. He's not going to have a great win rate. He's not going to have a great pass rush grade, but that's because what he does, he's just disruptive. So he'll drive guys off the ball. He'll make quarterbacks move off the spot. Like, I mean, there's a lot of people posting reps of him that were like, oh, so-and-so won this rep against Robinson or so-and-so. And I'm like, I don't know if I consider that a win because he's taking the guard to the quarterback. He's taking the center to the quarterback. Like he has a role. Move off a spot. And so he's more of like a role playing guy. I think he does good in the run. I think he does good in pass pro situations. He's a very solid player, good depth piece, long term. But yeah, I don't know what I really do with him. But I can see the vision. I'd like to pick again. If they get him in like the 5th round, I'm gonna be a little excited.
5th, 6th round, I'm good there. Yep, for sure.
I have Yaya Black in the same out of Iowa in the same.
He's huge.
He's so big.
Basically 6'6", 337. I'm like, and I've been lower, so I've got him like basically a 6th, 7th round guy. That's where I've got him. Gives you basically nothing as a pass rusher, but he flashed a little this week. That's what I said coming into this week, and I'm like, okay, there is something there. And then obviously just his mass, his size, his potential, and both of those guys that you just mentioned are team leader type guys, which I think the Bengals will like that part of them too. And it's part of it. It has to be part of it.
Yeah, no, both of those guys are just like these kind of late round guys that if they've gotten, I saw a mock last night from one of the big names that had the Bengals going, Colston Loveland at 17. If for some reason the draft goes in that direction, then you go to That's stuff for you, Chop. That's for you.
Yeah. Because they
Oh,
looked like you
yeah.
were falling asleep, so they wanted to wake you up. And
You were losing. Yeah.
Well, I need that hooker here.
Someone sent Chop a hooker.
That's a
Please,
hokey.
if you don't mind.
Yeah, he's on drugs. Maybe we can't read. Anyway, both those guys, they're day 3, kind of mid-day 3. If the draft goes a little weird, I'd be really happy to get either of them in. Just, again, get another body to the room as a role player. Not going to be an impact guy, but I mean, if you make a fun D-line signing in free agency and you'll get one of these guys on day 3, I think it's a good offseason, personally. Like, I mean, just kind of like rounding that room out. It's not going to get any flash talent.
I want pass rush. I want pass rush.
Yeah,
so,
that's the problem.
Did we even talk Walter Nolan?
No, we haven't talked Walter Nolan.
Like, how do we because that's I would love him at 17. He's a great run defender, but he's got juice in the pass rush game. Going to Ole Miss was great. Texas A&M, maybe that's why I don't like Shamar Stewart, because I honestly didn't like who's the other the edge when he went to Texas A&M this year? Scorton.
Well, there's Scorton, there's Turner, there's Stewart. I mean, they have both Shamars.
Yes, and Jackson from last year. It's like they make me almost not like these guys that have talent on the D line for whatever they're doing. Because
you need to do it alone, or it's not worth anything. Damn it.
Yeah, it's just odd what they do.
So you're saying Walter Nolan next to Princely in 2023 was just
just keep the band together.
Yeah, fucking
Jared Ivey, JJ Pago. We're just drafting the entire Ole Miss D line.
No, we want the A&M D line. We want Stewart, Jackson, and Turner. That's who we want.
Turner, man, was very disappointing this year.
Brew Crew.
I loved him summer scouting.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Somebody's on the way.
Hell yeah, Naughty. Hook him up.
Appreciate that.
All right, we'll move on to other positions. This will probably go a lot quicker because we love the trenches, baby.
Yes.
I love the trenches.
And that was the best group, both the best groups down here outside of the DBs, in my opinion. So
yeah, it's a very good trenches class. I mean, O-line, it'll be your cup of tea. But D-line is pretty stacked. I mean, even Shamar Stewart most years, I wouldn't even argue about being second-round guy. Like, it's just there's a lot of guys with pass rush that I like more in this class. We'll go tight ends. So Elijah Arroyo, Mason Taylor, and Harold Fannin were all there. I don't have Harold Fannin on this at all. I know he came on late in the week, didn't have a great first day. Came in at 238. Another guy that you said earlier about Mike Green playing at 230. I think this guy might play at 225 sometimes. I just don't know with Harold Fannin, but he blocked well this season. That was improved. But Arroyo really impressed. And there's an on-field speed during the games where it's like 21-something miles per hour against Georgia Tech. Yep. And I was like, damn. And he balled out. And Mason Taylor looked great as too. Any thoughts on those tight ends or any other tight end you want to mention from down there?
The best two tight ends this week. Oh, so
especially Mason Taylor.
He said because LSU.
Oh, I know. We'll get to
Homer.
I think Arroyo was the best tight end overall for the week. However, the concerns with him are, can you convince yourself he's not just a big wide receiver? He's a great route runner. He's extremely fast. Like, he's a very good football player in the passing game, but I worry about putting him in line, man. Like, you put him in line, he's got the injury history, doesn't seem like a willing blocker, struggled in those scenarios, even on the backside of run plays. Like, I feel like if you don't want to re-sign Gesicki, just go get Arroyo. And that's literally just a one-to-one. I think he's more explosive. I think he's got great
injury history is the big question.
Injury history is an issue, a really big issue with his profile.
Medicals will be key.
How are you going to use him? How do the medicals come back? And then that's where you can start really sorting him out. But I think he was one of the best players in the tight end group down here, in my opinion.
Was Brenningstool down there from Clemson?
Sure was.
Because that's a guy for when you said Gesicki, I always think of Brenningstool because he's he is definitely he's not a true tight end.
Yeah.
I think Arroyo could develop into a true tight end.
If he can stay healthy, for sure. I worry about him blocking a lot.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
So, Brenningstool, just to touch on, because I don't really want to talk about him too much, but he couldn't catch a cold this week.
Okay, well then fuck him, because that's literally all he does. So
yeah.
Because you're not getting him for blocking, period. That's why I said Mike Gesicki. Like,
He had some fun reps in like the team jog through periods where he caught the ball and got into space. But like when it came to like one-on-ones and stuff, like it felt like he was kind of getting locked down. So it was kind of like,
yeah, Aronde Gadsden then, if Brenningstool would be the other guy. And literally in the draft guide, I do mention Mike Gesicki because Gadsden played receiver, came in as a receiver, but he's at the Shrine Bowl instead of the senior. Yeah. And he weighed in the 240s, 247. But he was listed at like 220 because he used to be a wide receiver. He still plays a little bit like a wide receiver, but so does Mike.
He holds that weight well, though. I think he can put on another 10, 15 pounds and be kind of solid, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, then Mason Taylor, obviously. Well, actually, we'll save Mason Taylor.
No, he sucks. He went to LSU. You don't want LSU.
We got to see if we can keep chopping away until Mason Taylor. We got to give him something to look forward to.
Mason Taylor's a good tight end.
He is a good tight end. I don't disagree with that at all. Harold Fannon's also a good tight end. He should have won the tight end award.
He should have. I agree with that.
I don't know. I think
Arroyo or Fannin on your board because I flipped. I didn't think anyone would crack my top three, and I think I'm going to put Arroyo there regardless of injury history over Fannin. Am I crazy?
No, I don't think so. I think I was a huge Fannin fan.
Me too. I still am. Like
all season. I love what he did. I think my biggest issue with him and what I really saw this week wasn't what he did or didn't do. It was the fact that I don't think an NFL team is going to know how to use him. I just think he's a tweener. I think when he gets out there, they're not going to know if they can put him at fullback. Is he going to be able to block well enough? He's going to have the power at the second level. Are they going to be able to put him in line? Can he handle those blocks? We all know he's a good receiver, but then again, how does he hold up at that weight at that level? And so, I think there's so many questions about how to use him, and then no offense is really going to change what they do and focus on maximizing what Fannin can do. And that's where I really worry about his application in the league.
Ryan, I apologize. I know how much you love him. I still like him. I'm not.
Yeah.
Ryan loves Harold Fannin. Listen, I really like him.
I had him as tight end 1 until October.
Yeah, Tyler Warren was there early in this because I liked him from summer scouting. He just, was behind Theo Johnson or split with Theo Johnson a lot. And then once he started taking off, I was like, yeah, that's because I had basically put in summer scouting. This is a do-it-all tight end. He is just a dog. And he proved me right on that one. So thanks.
See, I didn't watch Warren in the summer. And so because I love Theo Johnson. And so I didn't really, I was like, well, how much run did he actually get?
I actually thought Warren was better than him last year. When I was watching them both.
Johnson. Another Senior Bowl guy.
All right. So we'll go wide receivers.
Wait.
What? You got another tight end?
We didn't do Mason Graham. I
thought we were waiting.
Well, we can't.
Mason Taylor. You don't even know his name.
I was going to say,
Mason Taylor. Somebody said Joy Taylor will be at Bengals game.
I know they were talking. Were they talking about?
That's all you've been thinking about.
I know.
That's
we
his
didn't
aunt.
Mason Graham either, to be fair.
Joy Taylor is Mason Taylor's aunt. Chop. She might fuck.
I haven't seen her.
She's the one with all the Fox Sports stuff.
You haven't seen Joy Taylor? Man, I mentioned Joy Taylor. Oh my gosh.
That one. All right. Well, we know what Chop's doing tonight.
Yeah. She looked good, huh?
Churning some butter.
She got some nudes.
Sheesh. I don't know. You might
check my DM.
Find out. What did you have there though before this chaos?
I was just gonna talk about Mason Taylor so we can move on.
Let's do it for Chop. Chop, back to Mason Taylor, not Joy Taylor, not his aunt.
He's I'm Googling right now. I can't focus on nothing.
Joy Taylor.
LSU, poor Chop. LSU.
No, Mason Taylor, I think I think Arroyo was the best tight end down here by the end of the week, but I think if you're looking for a true tight end, I think Mason Taylor is one of the better tight ends. He's going to be my third tight end on my board. I'm a huge fan of Mason Taylor. I just wanted that's all I'll say. So,
and I just saw Joy, so yes, she can come to the sideline.
Enormous rack and peanut butter skin, as that one guy said. I'm not saying this. He said it. Jason Whitlock said it. Just for the Marissa, she's not home, but
well, she does have some big some tittle biggies, huh?
You got Chop stuttering over there. Must be.
All right. So
nice.
anyone
Greg went off camera. I don't know what he's doing.
I put some standout guys, but honestly, all
He's
of them
also
except
looking
one,
at the pictures.
all of them except one were guys I had in the top 3 rounds already. So I'll say the ones that I had in the top 3 rounds. Jaden Higgins, he was the guy I had the highest of all the guys at the Senior Bowl coming in. So he did nothing but show me he is who I thought he was. Tez Johnson, I know he's 156 pounds, but he can get open. So I like him as a second, third round. Plus, he's a returner. But how does he hold up? I don't know. Same question with Tank Dell. He's not holding up well. Those players are always frustrating. Jalen Royals, Jack Besh, I think those 2 guys can play in the NFL. And then a guy that I had to go back and watch that I added to the draft guide was Kyle Williams from Washington State. So any thoughts on any of those guys? We won't spend too much time here on wide receivers.
My hot take for the draft cycle is going to be Tez Johnson's a 4th rounder for me, purely because that's when I take guys that are small but have upside. And whether
that's
it's
where
like
I had him for a lot of the time,
yeah.
Parker.
Like if you have a really good profile, but you have XYZ concern, I just dropped you to the 4th round. And that's where he's going to be for me. If he's
I've
there,
been bouncing it back between 2nd and 3rd, but I'm like, typically I just put a guy like this in the 4th round.
Like the first pick of the 4th round, go ahead. Swing on that thing. You take it. That's fine.
Swing on that thing,
Fine by me. But no, I think that's one of my hot takes for the cycle is just I don't think Tez Johnson to the 4th.
I get it. I get that one too. All right, Chop, Greg, anything for Parker before we move on to the next position?
I was just going to say when we're talking about wide receivers, though, is that I feel like if for some reason the Bengals don't extend T or whatever, wide receiver is in play at 17. So
what if you get the same guy with the same name?
What if they get Higgins
and if you could get him at
number
49, at 49, let's go. Because I have him way I have him higher than 49.
And
I'm just saying, what if they brought Higgins in here and he was also number 5 and they just had they just
or 85. People
going.
still have the 85 jerseys. Whatever you want to do with the last name.
Yeah.
That's just getting additional value for your fan base, Mike.
Boom.
Maybe just get Higgins anyway, since Burton hasn't worked out. We'll have double Higgins. We'll have Higgins, Square, and Chase.
Is there any other?
Maybe they just don't extend Chase and they re-sign Higgins, and then we'll have Higgins.
Okay, no.
Joe Burrow will be throwing passes to Higgins all day.
This is a great comment by Chris, Greg, and then you can go. Joy Taylor's definitely a wide receiver.
Well, hopefully she likes a
with
skinny
a
pass.
tight end.
Hopefully she likes a skinny pass too.
That bang 8,
Yes. Oh.
Greg, did you have something?
I don't know if I can.
To get us back on the rails.
No.
I still have Joy Taylor on my screen. I can't focus on shit.
No, Parker. In this order, with Chase, Higgins, and Hendrickson, what order is from most important to least important? What is your priorities if you had to round those 3?
I'll check on my dog while you're in.
Go ahead.
I'll be fast, I think. I mean, I said trade Hendrickson at the deadline. So, I mean, I'll put him at 3. I like what Higgins brings. I think he brings a more unique skill set than we're going to see come out of these classes. I know that we have Jaden Higgins this year, but I don't think you can't guarantee he's going to be a T. Higgins, while some of these other more athletic receivers, you can kind of replace some back and forth. You can replace some talent. So I think you get Higgins done first, just because you need to get him done.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get Jamar Chase done. I mean, you should get him done last year. You should get him done this year.
Well,
but if you have to.
Santori mentioned to us one time, he says if you wait till August, it's cheaper. I don't know how well you know the cap stuff and all that. Is that true?
I mean,
if you wait till August to sign Chase?
I mean, it depends on what you're looking at breaking down. I mean, there's always loopholes to the cap. There's always agents that, like, if you're getting it done in season, that they'll just bring that down for you. I'm sure it sounds like he found a loophole that I'm sure he could talk about. I'm not that cap guy. I know how the cap works. I know cap numbers and how to manipulate it, but I don't know that deep. So
okay, I was just curious.
All right, not a whole lot of guys left on here. Linebackers, because I got to give you a chance to talk about another Golden Domer or whatever the fuck they call
Golden Domer
people.
Now Jack Best is fun too. Linebackers.
Jeffrey Bassa, Oregon, Jack Kaiser are the 2 linebackers I put as standouts for the week. Would you agree? Disagree?
I heard a lot of people love what Bassa did this week. Bassa, however you want to say it.
Pasta.
I don't know. I heard people say
I just
both.
pronounce shit how I pronounce it, but
Me
I
too.
agree. I've heard both as well.
Me too. That's why I said I don't know what the actual
Yeah, me neither.
pronunciation. I did hear a couple of guys get an argument about it in the stands. I kind of giggled, but
Yeah, I'm
Man,
like,
there's a
I don't
Higgins
get it.
linebacker too.
oh, there is a Higgins on.
Yeah, Jay
Ah.
Higgins from Iowa. Yeah, there's a Jaden Higgins from Iowa State and at receiver, and there's a Jay Higgins from Iowa at linebacker.
We need all the Higgins. It's like a family reunion every Sunday.
But anyway, so Bassa, I didn't really notice him this week. I thought really only one of the linebackers just stood out so far. I've been kind of waiting for Saturday to see what these guys can do, but he's not going to be playing Saturday. He's gone, so not going to see it. But overall, I was kind of, I guess you can put him in the mixed results because I did see him do some good things during some jog throughs, but I didn't really see him stand out in the individual drills or in the one-on-ones or anything like that. Outside of, I thought he was a pass rush monster in the running back versus linebacker one-on-one pass rush periods. I thought he dominated those drills. So outside of that, I'm kind of like lukewarm on Bossa still. I think he's one of the top linebackers in the class because I don't think it's a great linebacker class. But that's kind of where I'm at with him. Jack Kaiser is a guy I love. I had him at 7 on my board for a long time. I'm a huge Kaiser fan.
I mean, I thought I was doing good moving from the 6th round to like 4th or 5th.
He's come down for me now, but like when I was early on in linebackers, I loved his film early on. I thought he's really rangy. I think he's a very clean player. He's very fundamentally sound. He's got great ball tracking. I don't think he dropped the ball all week that he got his hands on, whether it was individual drills or in one-on-ones. I think he covers really well. I think he fills the run really well. I think he can even blitz very effectively. Again, those one-on-one drills with the running backs was still dominant there. Just a very clean player. I don't think he's got crazy upside. Like his ceiling is really, really low, but his floor is really, really high. And so
he's
really,
a smaller guy too.
Yeah.
My thing, 6th year guy, you don't really put stock into that too much, do you? The 6th year, and then the second part of it for me is I know with COVID and all this, there's a lot of guys like that. But the other thing for me was he was never the full-time starter. They had 2 guys last year that he was playing behind. He was a rotational guy up to this year in those 6 years.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I think a day 3 grade is really good for him, just because I think he's a really, really high floor guy. You're just not going to get a lot out of him as far as development. So he's going to get into your room, and day 1, he's going to be a very solid player. He's going to be better than a lot of other rookie linebackers. However, year 3, year 5, he's not going to be really changed. He's going to be the same player as long as he hasn't regressed in that contract yet. And so I'm a really big fan of his game. I think he does a lot well. I think he's very smart, but again, older player, which I don't really care about age or size, which sounds really out of context. But
especially Bengals. Oh, geez. I don't care about age or size. No Diddy. Right?
But yeah, I think his ranginess, he's a clean player, great, very high football IQ, but just very high floor, low ceiling. So
yeah, how do you feel about Schwetzinger? I know he wasn't there from UCLA. He's a guy that I've got at like linebacker 3. Once again, not the greatest class, but I have Walker, who's basically an edge at linebacker 1. It's a little cop out on my part, but that's what he played this year. And then Jihad Campbell, who
you have Campbell too, yeah.
And then Schwetzinger's my 3.
I think he's a guy that's going to get a lot more hype post-combine, personally. I think his film was kind of hit or miss. I think he's going to test like a freak, and people are going to love that about an off-ball linebacker. So,
and 1 year of production, like he hadn't pweed till this year, but that 1 year he was great at everything. Yeah. So, but I said at minimum, you're getting a special teams demon with this kid. So, we'll move to corners, safeties real quick. I only got 3 guys on the list, and it's a Kentucky guy, a good Kentucky guy, Maxwell Hairston. 179, people are like, it's too small. No, that's fine. He was listed at 170. 179 is fine. Maxwell Harrison's a damn good football player. Kentucky is churning out corners. I'm a big fan of him. And Thomas is another guy I know you like. You might have him first-round guy. I got him second, but he's not far off from being a first-round guy. And I think he ends up going in the first, if I'm being honest with myself.
Yeah, I mean, I had Azaria Thomas as my CB1 for a minute, because I was procrastinating Hunter. I didn't have him over Hunter. I was procrastinating watching that film.
What about Will Johnson? You got him over Will?
I did have him over. I did have him over Will.
Okay.
I do not have him over Will right
And then you got Morrison, Ravel, who are injured.
Well, I'm low on
Tate Up Aaron has a little bit of everything, but Thomas.
Low on Morrison. But yeah, Thomas is a guy I love. Very, 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 very physical. Plays with great length. He just is an easy mover. Chop has something to say. Go.
No, I was leaning up to read the
like
comments.
roll up there, you know.
I know. Sometimes I'll be like 3D. Like,
Chop's like, I'm the man.
Right, it's the perk set. I might have took an extra one or so.
Chop, you can't say that you did that.
Oh, it's for pain.
Anyways, continue Thomas, and then we'll get to Hairston. We're looking Senior Bowl prospects. Listen, I promise you, Demetrius Knight, Nadi, I hear you. I like him too. Thick build, South Carolina. I don't know that he flashed this week, but I love a lot about him. He is in the draft guide. Buy a draft guide. I'm trying to end this. I'm going on with Jeff and the draft countdown guides at 5:30, so I'm trying to rush this along. Plus, we are an hour and a half in. But sorry, I don't.
We'll go lightning round here. Thomas, fluid mover, physical player, very, 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 very fast. Really kept up with everybody this week. I just think a very high-end guy. He's a big level competitor. Just love everything about what he is as a player, what he's on the field, off the field. Just a great locker room guy, great on the field. Hairston is next. Very undersized, like Dale said, in my opinion, but I think he plays way bigger than that. He's another physical corner. We had Thomas, Hairston, and Brandon Adams is the guy that I wanted to bring up, but all on the same
BJ, Brandon Adams, you'll see
Adams,
everybody that's listening.
Everybody BJ.
All three of them were very physical. All three of them were very fast. They kept those guys in their routes. They didn't really get lost on routes very often. I mean, obviously you're going to have these receivers in their TikTok routes every now and then, but all three of them were very physical, very, very, very fluid movers. Adams and Thomas were the more vocal guys, while Hairston just silently shut down guys all week. And I think people noticed that about him, where he was just, go and get the job done, get back to your spot and just do it again. He'll do it play in, play out. He'll just keep going. He's very consistent. Big fan of Hairston.
Is there any other corners beside BJ and the two I mentioned who are more like high draft guys? Is there any? I know Upton Stout, some guys like that. Upton Stout's only like 5'8", but Western Kentucky, he'll hit the piss out of you. And I think he had a good day one, but I didn't hear nothing about him after that.
Stout, there was a couple guys out here that really love Stout. I didn't really notice him this week, but I was focusing on the four guys that I really liked, and that was the three that we already mentioned. And BJ Adams again. I think he had the first pick of the week. I think he had at least one interception every day of practice in every other drill. It felt like.
Went into Ocho mode.
I'm Ocho Cinco. Child, please.
But I mean, BJ Adams running receivers routes for them all week. Very high. Like his top end speed is crazy. Like I feel like he can run with the best of them.
I hadn't heard anything about him, so thank you for bringing him up, because I remember he was one of the first guys invited that accepted or whatever, and I was like, and then I added him to the draft guide and watched it, but I hadn't heard nothing about him this week. So
no, he was locked down, from depth in the red zone drills. Like he was one of the better corners this week in my opinion. I wrote about him a lot. Another guy that I loved was Darian Porter. I'm a big Darian Porter at Iowa State fan. I was actually talking with the guy.
I can't believe I didn't even have him mention him, because he's he's actually the highest graded player, I think. No, Hairston. It's Thomas, Hairston, then Porter. So, but they're all like within the top 75 easily.
Porter's just a long, strong, fast physical. Like he's a track kid. I was talking with a guy today because he has very limited snaps over his career in Iowa State, and so we were kind of trying to figure out how to parse through that information. That's something that I wasn't really aware of until this morning.
6-year guy with limited snaps. I have that in the draft guide. See, had you bought a draft guide for $5 donation to Project Game Day, trying to get it all in.
I bought one for Duke Tobin. Do you see that? I paid for it.
See it.
I did pay for one.
What's his email address, Chop? You have to have Duke Tobin.
Send it to the webmaster. Child, please.
Maybe we'll ask Jeff Hobson what Duke Tobin's email. Be like, I got this draft guide for him. He can do what he wants with it.
It's paid for.
I tried yelling at him from the stands. He was not having it.
He did not want to talk to you. Sorry, continue.
Anyway.
The Kansas State kid I like too. That was a guy on my radar, but I didn't hear a lot about him.
Yeah. The last guy I want to mention is a guy that I was also really high on. Him and Thomas were by the way. Parrish. That's good pull. That was good. Remember, every time I think of Kansas State, I think of
I thought he'd go back another year, so I had him in the draft guide, then I took him out because I thought he'd go back, and then he came back, so I had to bring him back in. Yeah. Sorry.
But yeah. Anyway, so then it was Porter, and then the other guy that I totally forgot until just barely, but Trey Amos. I had him and Thomas.
How did I forget about him?
Two of my highest graded corners in this process. I really love both of their films. Trey Amos, again, this entire corner class plays with great length. They're very athletic guys. They're fluid movers, and they're very physical at the point of attack. There's a lot of speedier corners that just isn't my cup of tea, so I'm very low on those guys. But these guys that have bigger frames and they're physical ball players, I love all of them. It's only wow.
Dang. I know we all saw that and couldn't just not laugh. Woo. For the podcast listeners, Sindustry said, "If only Duke had learned how to read."
Right.
But that's my corner list. I think it's Thomas, Amos, Porter, Adams,
Good group.
Hairston. I mean, all five of those guys, I'll be happy with any of them.
Yeah, they're going to go in the top 2 rounds. All of them. All of them.
All of them.
Damn. Another guy, I think this guy might be 3rd round, and he played slot corner at Iowa, but I think maybe he's a safety at the next level. Either way, I think he's a good player. Sebastian Castro.
Huge fan of Sebastian Castro, but the safeties overall this week have been very underwhelming. Billy Bowman, stock down guy for me this week while we're here, just because he was getting board chop. Mason Taylor routed up Billy Bowman every single day this week. Had him on the ground.
He's small too, right?
On the ground. Looks tiny out there.
Yeah.
Looks tiny. But Mason Taylor's running routes, and Billy Bowman was on the ground once on day 1, twice on day 3 via Mason Taylor. And so I just those reps alone, I was like, that's not good. And then just kind of what he did throughout the way. This is a hard situation for safeties, because just the situations you're in, you're never really in a good moment for a safety. So you want to see them play in the game Saturday. So I've been kind of waiting for Saturday. I know what the film looks like on these guys. So I'm just kind of waiting around. But that's where I'm at. I'm a big fan of Castro. I was a fan of Bowman until this week. So we'll see what Saturday looks like. But I think Castro's a very flexible player, hybrid player. Can play in the slot for you, can play over the top for you. Not as rangy as I'd like him to be, but seems like he processes very well, which kind of makes up that speed. So
At what time is that game tomorrow, Parker?
2:30 Eastern.
2:30. All right.
Dale's not going to be watching it.
Why?
I don't know. I'm being funny, Dale.
That wasn't funny.
The delivery was really good there, Greg. You got it.
Yeah, that was terrible delivery.
Yeah,
Need to practice on that.
I'm sure Dale won't be watching it.
You're right.
I'm sure Dale won't be watching it.
Oh, no, that's fucking frightening. What the fuck?
Oh, wait, hold on.
What the hell was that?
I'm sure Dale ain't going to be watching it.
Now, please.
All right,
Dale,
Greg,
you
get up and
got
dot bot. Get up and dot bot. Somebody said you fucked
Friday.
up earlier, and you need to get up and
Parker's
dot
here.
bot.
It's time to dot bot.
You guys see his dick swinging down by his
Yeah, you can see that fucker swinging. in
These are
his
skinny.
shorts.
These are skinny shorts, so yeah.
You're not wearing underwear or something? That fucker was swinging back and forth, Greg.
I am wearing underwear, but
I
yeah.
will watch
God
the Royal
dang, it
Rumble,
must
man.
be
That's
Hank.
one of my
You ain't wearing
favorite
them buildings.
WWE events. Just saying, that's country as hell the way I just talked. When I start talking wrestling, I start talking. I
when you
can't
see-
help it.
The Portsmouth comes out of you.
It does. It just comes right back. Greg probably would rub Duke's mayonnaise all over his body if we draft a player he likes.
I got some of that up in the fridge.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Some good
All
old
right,
Duke.
Parker, you're amazing. Plug all your stuff, man. Honestly,
Yes.
one of my favorite guests, because we both just this draft stuff, man. It's just like if you're in the game of the draft and you're obsessed with it, it's just different. Even if you don't agree on a prospect, a couple we don't agree on.
Which ones?
Mike Green. That's for damn sure.
Lamar Stewart and Mike Green, and I keep forgetting the third one.
That little short fucking peanut guy.
No, we both.
No.
No, we both like Lampkin and Peebles.
Yeah. I don't know. This is their one. We like Alexander. Like we were on the same page with that one.
I don't know. Rewind.
Yeah, we'll have to watch it back.
Yeah, we'll have to watch it back.
Make sure you watch the video all the way through from the beginning to the end.
Maybe there's only two. Maybe two. It's the two we remember is Mike Green and Shamar Stewart. So
Yeah, those are the important.
that's the ones we actually gave a shit about.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah.
All right. Parker, tell everybody once again where they can find you. You are fucking awesome, and I appreciate you taking time while you're in Mobile, Alabama at the Senior Bowl to come on and join our show. You're the best.
No, I appreciate the opportunity. I always love coming on the show talking draft with you, man. I mean, it's hard to find guys you actually talk the draft with that actually know like a plethora
Like
of
me.
prospects. I mean,
Like me.
guys know people, but they haven't watched the film. I know Dale watches the film.
I appreciate you.
I know Dale values,
Wait,
production as well, and I hope he teaches me one day what production even means. But yeah, no, follow me at Parker Blake 60 on Twitter. Subscribe to me on Twitter because I post just a bunch of random shit there for you guys. I try to have a coordinated plan every year, and it falls apart. But I throw whatever I can out there, even if I'm not going to post. Like I said, I have my full interviews. I have my full interviews from Media Day for my subscribers. I did start a TikTok yesterday, and I now realize this means I have to find more content to put on there.
I have not updated mine. I would advise just don't get more social medias. Like just think. Like, I know you want to branch out. That's what I did with this show, and I've hated it. Deleted my Snapchat because I ain't looking for pussy. And deleted my TikTok.
Wait a minute, Snapchat's for pussy?
Well,
I gotta download that shit.
Yeah, all right. Joy Taylor, add Joy Taylor.
Yeah,
Tandy Parker, sorry.
No, you're good. No, and then again, yeah, you'll find everything that I do on my Twitter in one capacity or another. There is stuff that I do that I only post to subscribers, like my YouTube stuff. I usually drop for my subscribers only. Like that's really where all my stuff is, either YouTube or on Twitter.
Subscribe to him, man. Like you guys subscribe to Joe Goodberry. You're gonna get a lot of good shit from Parker. Subscribe to him on Twitter. Follow him on Twitter. Parker, is it an underscore?
No, just Parker Blake 60. Yes,
I feel like if Parker wants to sit in that chair for another hour and a half,
that's what Jeff is saying. So I will let Parker answer you right now, Jeff. Parker, check your DMs. He wants you to come on with me, the draft countdown guys, which I can just set and rip Peters off screen basically the whole time. if you come on.
Hey, no one likes a bragger, all right?
No pressure though. But do you
I didn't have. I'm actually
getting
blown up right now. I got to get to this other. I have a call here that was important, so
sorry.
I got to pop off. But no, it's always a pleasure to talk to y'all. I got to get out of here too.
And we'll have a mock draft at some point. It'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Parker. Love you, bro.
I'll take it easy, brother.
Love you, Parker. Hooday.
Good dude right there, man.
He's all right, man. I like Parker.
Tons of time.
Oh, he forgot about Jeff. Jeff also says, how about next week?
Oh, yeah. I was trying to get him out of there because he needed. I mean, I didn't plan on going an hour and 40 minutes. So,
yeah.
But there's just a lot to get in, man. When you're draft guys and you love the draft, and it's like, you want to talk draft, and I got a guy like Parker on. I'm just like, we could have talked for another 2 hours, and it wouldn't have been no thing, man. For real.
All right.
And Jeff, will you answer the question about Kyle jumping on your show in a few? Are you talking Kyle Kennard, by the way, Paul Painter? I like him. I got him in late second round, maybe early third guy from South Carolina, if that's what you're talking about. Get that one in before we leave. But, Greg, you've basically not talked this show, and I apologize.
Don't worry about it, man, because
I always feel bad.
He's talking about
Kyle. I'm trying to get home my knowledge here, buddy. I'm trying to get inside both you and Parker.
Kyle, I'm going to answer. Hold on. Let me answer. Paul's question originally was about Kyle Caskey. Kyle Caskey used to be a coach for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Right, the running back coach. Yeah,
coach.
Yeah,
he does.
He's the running back coach. I subtle flex. Have his phone number. But he's not. But I don't know where he's coaching. I don't really talk to him. He come on the show once. He's a nice guy.
I'm sure if you watch that show, if he's on there today, he'll let you know.
Good dude.
But he also has a YouTube thing where he does breakdowns.
Smart. So. I root for good people, and he's always been a good person to me. So, but yeah. Greg has been texting his ladies. You're right, Industry.
That's fact.
Greg's like, I'm listening to you guys talk prospects. Here's my elephant trunk.
Right.
I was looking up Joy Taylor
Swanson.
You were also looking up Joy Taylor?
I told you that was a hot. Yeah, you asked me who was drafted one time, and I did say Joy Taylor one time.
You like them peanut butter?
Have you ever rubbed one off to her?
Big. big-breasted peanut butter skin. I didn't say that, by the way.
I did.
Jason Whitlock said it. Go look it up. Jason Whitlock, Joy Taylor. Look it up.
Are you? Did you ever rub one off to her, Greg?
He pleads the fifth.
Oh yeah, he pleads the 5 fingers.
Plead the fifth.
Like Parker said, churning butter.
No, man, I appreciate everybody that tuned in. Parker
Sure
is
do.
a wealth of knowledge. I ain't gonna be worth the damn on Jeff's show, to be honest. But the draft countdown guys, including Brian Bosarge, who is a Cincinnati Bengals fan, is going to be on there, and he's awesome. He lives in Mobile, Alabama, so he's been down there at Senior Bowl too. It's going to be a great time on Sports with Strawberry Ice. So tune in there at 5:30, guys. I'm going to hop over there, take a little break, probably check on the dog. But man, you guys are awesome. Chop, Greg, anything else to end this one?
I really don't have anything else, man. It's Friday night, and I just got my gallbladder out, so I'm gonna go out and fucking party. By that I mean,
hey, happy birthday! Happy birthday to Santori.
Oh, that's right. Happy birthday, Santori.
Cincy Suave, Cincy_Suave 2 on Twitter, aka Santori.
He told me he personally would love dick pics in his DMs.
Yes.
For his birthday.
DM him dick pics.
DM him dick pics.
It don't have to be your dick.
No, anybody's dick.
Just DM Cincy_Suave 2 and say happy birthday with a dick pic.
With a dick pic. He would love that. That's his. I said, what do you want for your birthday? He was like, it'll never happen, but I wish that my DMs would be flooded with dick pics.
Just as many dick pics as possible.
So it's like make a wish. Let's help this guy live his dream.
Yeah. Happy birthday. Here's a bunch of dicks.
Right.
Or Peters, like Scott.
Scott Peters, right?
Yeah. Because dicks just
singleize that dick
Peters.
Yeah, so send all the Peters to Cincy Suave _2. Yeah.
Also, Chop, you got a ladyboy on her way.
Hell yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Chop don't care.
Whatever.
Chop says they're butthole.
Hey, ain't scared.
Watch.
Let's go.
Bet. I'm gonna fuck it.
Yeah, I don't even care. The fucking wig slips off. Let's go.
Oh, Chris is fancy. Only sends dictures.
Yeah, send him a fancy dicture.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Send him a dicture.
No, and do scare him, Bentucky. He can't be scared.
No, he said I will not be
like,
scared at all.
He was like, I'm up for the challenge.
Suave 2.
Cincy
Flood
Suave
his DMs, guys.
_2.
OG Mudbone, flood it with OG Mudbone pictures.
Yes. Yep.
He'll love it.
Man, I hope that works.
That would be I swear, I hope we get a message and say, you can put courtesy of Bengals and Brews.
Please.
Happy birthday. Courtesy of Bengals and Brews.
Care of
Happy
Bengals and Brews.
And say,
literally,
he may kill us, but it will be fun.
I'm going out with him tomorrow night. I'm gonna probably be in trouble.
Let's go. That's funny. So if you're on Twitter, Cincy_Suave, SUAVE 2.
Can't we write it somewhere? Create a banner.
Bengals and Brews dick guide. Bengals and Doobs.
SAUVE.
SAU what?
Is it CINCYSAUVE _2?
Hold on.
Fuck it, I won't write it. It might be wrong.
Hold on.
But anyway, send him all the dick pics. He would love it. It's his birthday. We should make the guy happy.
Yeah. Once again, Cincy, CINCY _SUAVE 2.
_ SUAV.
Send all of them. Full send.
There you
Happy
go.
birthday.
There it is. Cincy _Suave 2.
Also, it's
I
Jeff's
know your birthday. Hey,
It
I
is
know
Jeff's
Jeff's birthday.
birthday. At Sports with Strawberry Everybody's
He's getting jealous.
Send him Send
He
it.
wants the
We'll
dick
send
pics
it, Jeff.
too. We start
Yes,
talking
you
about
get some-
sending
April
Santori
14th.
dick pics.
April 14th.
It's
Hey,
April
mark this
14th,
down.
Jeff. So April 14th, put it on your
Right.
calendars and send him dong pics.
Get ready
April
to.
14th.
We start talking dick pics in your DMs for your birthday. And Jeff comes right in like, guess what? I got a birthday coming up too.
Happy yeah, and he's like, it's not my birthday today. Wait
Right.
till April
Don't send him
14th.
yet.
April 14th, Jeff.
Wait till April 14th.
14th. And then send Jeff all the dick pics and tell him care of Bill Gossi.
This is gonna be fantastic.
Yes.
All right, I better get off here because I got to jump on Jeff's show.
Yeah, he should have loved talking to you.
We
now.
have to be professional. I can't even talk about all the dick pics that may or may not already be in his DMs.
Oh my God, please.
What a fucking! This is why don't let us go for almost 2 hours.
I
Nothing
know.
good happens on a Friday.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh man. Oh, Chop, is this your birthday?
No.
Oh no, Trevor's is February.
I don't have a
24th.
birthday.
Yeah, Chops gets one every 4 years.
I know. I get dick pics every 4 years.
Chop is a leap year baby.
Yeah.
All right,
I will be 53 next month.
Naughty sent an asshole pic. Jeff, is that
Yes.
what you want? I think Jeff wants
Jeff
pictures
would
of your
rather have the
asshole
bunghole pic.
on April 14th.
On April 14th, well, you'll know because Jeff will be prepping that goddamn birthday week
Oh,
for
yeah.
a week before that.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, Jeff. He's probably setting the show up now. He's probably off, or he's being flooded with buttholes. And oh no, he's still here. No.
Balloon knots. Yes.
All right, guys, I gotta really get off here.
All right.
See it.
I got stuff to do.
Who
too.
dat?